At the break of dawn, Chinese ships seen lurking, then proceeded to shadow the flotilla of Filipino vessels. They start tailing the Philippine Coast Guard ships, escorting wooden supply boats chartered by the Navy. Moments later, the dangerous maneuvers begin, and CNN Philippines was among a group of journalists who were there to witness how it all unfolded. Chinese Coast Guard ships sailing dangerously close to BRP Cabra, so close that at one point it almost rammed the PCG vessel. But BRP Cabra eventually outmaneuvers the Chinese ships to continue providing cover for Uniza May 2, one of the Filipino supply boats. A seemingly endless exchange of radio messages ensues.
I urge you to leave this area immediately. Any consequences in terms of that will be brought by you.
What we do in our own backyard is not of their concern. So why coordinate with them in the first place?
There were sightings of foreign aircraft flying overhead, including a U.S. Navy spy plane and also at least 2 Chinese Navy warships in the horizon. China Coast Guard then shifts its attention to the other Filipino Coast Guard vessel. Despite forcibly pulling a stop and now remaining stationary, BRP Sindangan is still being blocked by at least 2 Chinese vessels. This standoff at high seas now lasting for almost an hour. Earlier, the Chinese ship also trailed BRP Sindangan and the supply boat it is escorting, Uniza May 1, and tried to break them up. This video clearly shows how CCG 21556 sped off and crossed the bow of BRP Sindangan, a close call that forced the Filipino vessel to slow down just to avoid colliding with the Chinese ship. After hours of what seemed a cat-and-mouse chase at sea, the Chinese ships boxed in the 2 Filipino escort vessels. But the Filipino supply boats eventually made their way to Ayungin Shoal to deliver food and other supplies to troops stationed at the BRP Sierra Madre.
Are we going to be thankful that they didn't choose water cannon? Are we going to classify that they are de-escalating now? I don't think so. Whatever they have been doing in the West Philippine Sea since then and now remains to be illegal.
Aside from its much bigger Coast Guard ships, China is also tapping its maritime militia, seen now as becoming more aggressive to help set up blockades. Face-off between a David and a Goliath. That's how these recurring Manila-Beijing sea encounters are often described. The Philippines vowing never to back down despite having to stand its ground against a global superpower.
It ignites our patriotism and our dedication to serving the government.
For Filipino forces, the fight continues, hoping that one day these recurring tensions will eventually simmer down before it gets out of hand. On board BRP Sindangan in the West Philippine Sea, David Santos, CNN Philippines.